Mara Chen was dying until she did the craziest thing of her life. She dropped her tray and screamed one word, "Stop!" at the most dangerous man in Manhattan. Mara, 20 years old, 3 jobs, never caused trouble, but she had just seen something no one else saw. Now Vincent Accardi, the mafia boss who controlled half the city, was staring at her, and 6 guns were pointed at her head. This is the story of how an invisible girl became the only person he trusted, and how a dog that was once a weapon became the bridge between them. The morning had started like every other morning in Queens. Mara stood in her studio apartment, smaller than most people's bathrooms, staring into an empty refrigerator. Her wallet held $47. Rent was due in 3 days. The electric bill, already overdue. Medical debt from when her brother got sick last year still sat at $22,000, growing with interest every month. 3 jobs kept her afloat. Barely. Waitress at Rossi's Italian from 6 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. Delivery driver from 6 at night until 11. Freelance bookkeeping on weekends when her eyes could still focus on numbers after 60-hour weeks. 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, no vacations, no complaints. Her grandmother used to say, "Work hard, Chen, that's the only honor poor people have." Mara pulled on her uniform, black pants, white shirt, comfortable shoes that had seen better days. She brushed her hair back into a ponytail, splashed water on her face, and looked at herself in the cracked mirror. 20 years old, but her eyes looked older. Tired, but still fighting. She grabbed her bag and headed out. The subway ride to Rossi's took 40 minutes. She used the time to memorize her bookkeeping clients' accounts, making mental notes about which invoices needed chasing, which expenses looked suspicious. Her brain never stopped working, always calculating, always observing, always 3 steps ahead just to stay 1 step from drowning. Rossi's Italian opened at 6:30. Mara arrived at 6:15 like always. Marco, the head chef, was already prepping. Miguel, the busboy, was setting tables. "Morning, Mara," Marco called from the kitchen. "Morning, chef. Big day today. Private party tonight. VIP room." Mara paused while tying her apron. Rossi's didn't have a VIP room. Since when? Marco didn't look up from his cutting board. Since today. Owner's orders. Who's coming? Don't ask questions you don't want answered. Mara felt something cold settle in her stomach. In Queens, when people said don't ask questions, it meant one thing. Connected people. Mafia. Criminals who smiled while they broke your fingers. She should have walked out right then. Should have called in sick. Should have done anything except tie that apron and start her shift. But $47 in her wallet made the decision for her. The lunch rush came and went. Mara moved through the dining room like a dancer, balancing plates, remembering orders without writing them down, reading customers with precision that came from years of survival. Table 4, man in his 50s, new wedding ring, checking his phone every 3 minutes. Having an affair. She served him quickly, didn't make conversation. Table 7, elderly woman alone with a brand new book and old coat. Wanted company more than food. Mara asked about the book, listened to the answer, made the woman smile. Table 9, businessman with 2 Bluetooth earpieces in an oversized wallet. Would tip exactly 15%. Mara stayed professional, efficient, didn't waste energy trying to charm him. She read people the way some people read books. Body language, micro-expressions, the tiny details everyone else missed. Nobody had taught her. She learned because she had to, because reading people meant better tips. Better tips meant eating that week. Eating meant surviving. By 2 in the afternoon, the lunch crowd had cleared. Mara counted her tips. $67. Not bad for a Tuesday. Miguel counted his. $43. His face fell. "My son needs medicine," he said quietly. "Needs 60 for the prescription." Mara looked at her money, then at Miguel, then at her wallet with its pathetic $47 that wouldn't even cover rent anyway. She pulled out $20 and handed it to him. "Mara, you need this." "You have a kid. I don't. Take it." "I can't just—" "Miguel, take it." He took it, hugged her quickly, tears in his eyes, said nothing because nothing needed to be said. From the kitchen, Marco watched and nodded. He knew. Mara always did this, shared what little she had, never mentioned it again. Her grandmother taught her that. Give not because you have extra. Give because it's right. Now Mara had $47 in her wallet, not enough to keep her apartment, but Miguel had $63 to save his son. That was what mattered. At 5:30, Marco called her into his office. His face was serious in a way that made her stomach tighten. The VIP party tonight. They want you to serve. Why me? They asked for the best waitress. That's you. He paused. There's a $500 bonus. $500. Mara could pay rent, could buy groceries, could breathe for one more month. What's the catch? Serve fast, don't ask questions, don't make eye contact. Just do your job and get out. Mafia? Marco didn't answer, which was an answer. Mara should have said no. Every instinct screamed danger, but $500 sat there like a life raft in the ocean. I'll do it. Marco looked relieved and guilty at the same time. Be careful, Mara. At 6:45, the VIP guests arrived. 6 men in expensive suits that cost more than Mara made in 6 months. Earpieces, bulges under their jackets where guns rested. They moved like soldiers, scanning the room, checking exits, positioning themselves with military precision. And in the center, the man they protected, Vincent Accardi. Mara didn't know his name yet, but she knew power when she saw it. The way the other men orbited him like satellites around the sun. The way they waited for his nod before sitting. The way silence fell when he spoke. He was tall, maybe 6'2", dark hair swept back, eyes so dark they looked black. Mid-30s, but carried himself like someone much older. Suit perfectly tailored. Probably cost $5,000. Wedding ring absent but tan line visible. Divorced or widowed, Mara's brain cataloged automatically. Recently, still adjusting, she approached the table with water glasses on a tray. 6 glasses, one for each man, professional, efficient, eyes down like Marco said. She set them out from left to right. Muscle memory, years of practice making her movements smooth, unremarkable, forgettable. That's when she saw it. Not something obvious, just wrong. The glass in front of Vincent Accardi looked identical to the others. Same crystal, same water, same everything, except the viscosity was off, just barely. The way light refracted through it was different by maybe 1 degree, and when she got close enough, there was a smell. Faint, bitter, like almonds that had gone rancid. Her brain connected dots faster than conscious thought. Poison. Someone had poisoned Vincent Accardi's water. She had maybe 3 seconds before he lifted that glass to his lips and died. Time slowed. Her options flashed through her mind like cards being dealt. Walk away. Pretend she didn't see. Collect her $500. Live. Or stop him. Risk everything. Probably die. $47 in her wallet. $500 promised. Medical debt drowning her. Rent due in 3 days. None of it mattered. Her grandmother's voice echoed in her head. Do right even when it costs you. Vincent Accardi lifted the glass. Mara screamed, "Stop!" The tray fell from her hands. Crystal shattered against the floor. Water and glass exploded across expensive Italian tile. Her hands shot out, knocking the glass away from Vincent's lips. Water splashed across his suit. The glass tumbled, fell, shattered. Silence. Then chaos. 6 guns appeared like magic, all pointed at her head. Safeties clicked off. Red laser dots danced across her chest. 1 breath away from death. Vincent Accardi sat perfectly still, water dripping from his chin, suit ruined, looking at her with eyes that showed nothing. No anger, no surprise, nothing. Explain. 1 word, quiet, absolutely terrifying. Mara's hands shook. Her heart hammered so hard she thought it might break her ribs. Every survival instinct screamed to run, but 6 guns said running meant dying. The water. It's not water, not just water. Be specific. Viscosity's wrong, light refracts differently. There's a smell, bitter, like almonds, could be cyanide, could be ricin. I'm not sure, but it's not water. Vincent's eyes narrowed. He gestured to the man on his left. Marcus, test it. Marcus, head of security, 40 years old with scars that told stories Mara didn't want to know, pulled a small vial from his jacket. He poured a drop of the spilled water into it, added a chemical. The mixture turned deep crimson. Ricin! The room exploded. Voices rose. Guns swung toward the door. One of the men grabbed his radio, barking orders. Another moved to block the exit. Vincent raised his hand. Instant silence. He looked at Mara, really looked, like he was seeing past her uniform, past her fear, past everything to some core truth underneath. Your name. Mara Chen. How did you know? I didn't know, I just saw. You saw poison. I see everything, details, patterns, things that don't fit. Her voice steadied slightly. It's how I survive. Vincent stood. He was taller up close, more intimidating. But also, Mara noticed, tired. Deep exhaustion hiding behind perfect control. He moved closer. She didn't back away. Couldn't. Wouldn't. You just saved my life. I just did what was right. Something flickered across his face. Surprise, maybe, or recognition. In my world, doing right gets you killed. Better than living wrong. He almost smiled. Almost. What's your rate? What? You work here. What do they pay you? $12 an hour plus tips. I'll pay you $10,000 a month, plus apartment, full medical coverage. Mara's brain stuttered. 10,000. That was more than she made in 4 months. To do what? Keep me alive. I'm a waitress, not a bodyguard. You see things nobody else sees. That's more valuable than any bodyguard. He buttoned his jacket, all business now. You can accept or decline, but you need to decide now. Why now? Marcus interrupted. Boss, the waiter who delivered the water. He ran, back exit, had a car waiting. Vincent's jaw tightened. Inside job. Yes, sir. Vincent looked at Mara again. Whoever poisoned me saw your face. They'll think you're with me. They'll kill you to send a message. Mara's blood ran cold. But I'm not with you. Doesn't matter what's true. Matters what they believe. Glass shattered. The front window exploded inward. Gunfire erupted from outside. Vincent moved like lightning, his hand clamped on Mara's wrist, pulling her down as bullets tore through the air where she'd been standing. Tables splintered, plates shattered. Someone screamed. Marcus and the other guards returned fire, their weapons suddenly in their hands, glass and wood flying as they created a corridor of protection around Vincent. Kitchen. Now. Vincent dragged Mara across the floor, staying low, moving with the confidence of someone who'd done this 100 times. Through the dining room, past Miguel, cowering under a table, past Marco flattened against the kitchen wall, out the back door where a black SUV sat with its engine already running. Vincent shoved Mara into the back seat and dove in after her. Marcus jumped into the front passenger seat. The driver, someone Mara hadn't seen before, hit the gas before the doors even closed. Tires screamed. The SUV rocketed forward. Behind them, more gunfire. Bullets sparked off the rear window but didn't penetrate. Bulletproof glass. Mara pressed against the leather seat, breathing hard, mind trying to process what just happened. 30 seconds ago, she was a waitress. Now she was in a bulletproof SUV fleeing a gunfight. She looked back through the rear window. Rossi's Italian, where she'd worked for 3 years, was under siege. Smoke. Chaos. People running. Miguel, Marco. Are they? They're fine, Vincent said, not looking at her. Shooters were after me, not civilians. How do you know? Because killing civilians creates enemies. They don't want enemies. They want power. The certainty in his voice should have been comforting. It wasn't. It was terrifying, because it meant this was normal for him. Gunfights, assassinations, death. The SUV weaved through Manhattan traffic like a fish through water. The driver knew every shortcut, every alley, every way to disappear in a city of 8 million people. 15 minutes of silence except for Marcus on his radio, coordinating with other teams, checking perimeters, locking down locations Mara didn't understand. Finally, the SUV slowed, pulled into an underground garage, descended 3 levels, stopped in front of a private elevator. Out, Vincent said. Mara followed because what choice did she have? Her legs felt weak, her hands still shook, adrenaline crash hitting hard. The elevator was all mirrors and brass, classical music played softly. It was surreal, like stepping from war into a luxury hotel in the space of 10 seconds. They rose. 42 floors according to the numbers counting up. When the doors opened, Mara stepped into a penthouse that redefined wealth. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Manhattan, like a kingdom laid out for inspection. Marble floors that probably cost more than her entire apartment building. Leather furniture that belonged in museums. Original artwork on the walls, not prints. Actual paintings by artists she recognized from college art history classes she'd taken before dropping out. Her entire studio apartment could fit in the entryway. Sit, Vincent gestured to a leather couch that probably cost $5,000. Mara sat, mostly because her legs gave out. A woman appeared from a hallway, 40 years old, elegant in a way that came from breeding not money, with sharp eyes that missed nothing. This is her? Olivia, this is Mara. Olivia runs my administrative operations. I keep him alive, Olivia corrected. She studied Mara like a scientist examining a specimen. You look terrible. Come, I'll show you where you can clean up. Mara followed in a daze, through hallways lined with art, past rooms she couldn't identify, into a bathroom larger than her bedroom. Showers there, towels there. I'll bring clothes. Olivia paused at the door. You did good tonight. Saved his life. That matters. Then she was gone. Mara looked at herself in the mirror. Blood on her shirt. Not hers. Glass in her hair. Eyes wide with shock. She looked like a victim. She turned on the water, made it cold, splashed it on her face until the shock helped her think clearly again. She was not a victim. Victims quit. She was still here, still breathing, still fighting. By the time she emerged, clean clothes waited, black jeans that fit perfectly, a soft sweater. How did Olivia know her size? When she walked back to the living room, Vincent was on the phone speaking rapid Italian. He saw her, held up one finger. Wait. Mara waited. She had nowhere else to go. He finished his call, poured 2 glasses of amber liquid from a crystal decanter, offered her one. Whiskey, you'll want it. She took it, didn't drink. Neither did he. You have 3 options, Vincent said. He didn't sit, stood by the window, silhouetted against the city lights. 1 by witness protection, new name, new city, never come back. Never see Miguel again. Never visit her grandmother's grave. Never return to the only life she knew. 2, stay here until we find who tried to kill me. Could be days. Could be months. Trapped, caged, waiting while danger circled. 3, help us find them. How? I don't know anything about your world. But you see things. He turned to face her. You saw poison. Maybe you'll see the betrayer. Mara set down the whiskey. Her hands had finally stopped shaking. If I help, if we find them, then what? Then you're free, with enough money to start over wherever you want. And if I pick option 1 or 2, same result. Freedom, money, safety. Then why offer 3? Vincent smiled, small, sad. Because I think you're the kind of person who'd rather fight than hide. He was right. Mara hated that he was right. I need to think. Fair. Olivia will show you to a guest room. Decide by morning. But Mara wasn't listening anymore. She was looking past Vincent toward the glass doors that led to a terrace, where a massive pit bull was pacing, scarred, muscular, angry, with a white lightning bolt on his chest. The world tilted. That dog, her voice came out strangled. What's his name? Vincent glanced back. Titan. I've had him 3 years. Why? Mara moved toward the glass, like in a dream, like watching herself from outside her body. The dog stopped pacing, looked at her, tilted his head. She knew that tilt, knew the way his ears perked forward, knew the exact shape of that lightning bolt because she'd traced it with her fingers every night before bed when she was 13 years old. When did you get him? 3 years ago? Certified breeder? Papers in my office? Why does it matter? Mara pressed her hand against the glass. The dog moved closer, stared at her like he was trying to remember something just out of reach. Because 7 years ago, someone stole my puppy from my backyard in Queens. Her voice broke. His name was Titan. He had a lightning bolt on his chest, and I never stopped looking for him. Silence. Vincent stepped closer, studying her, studying the doll. studying the impossible connection forming between them. That's impossible. Is it? Mara spun to face him. You said certified breeder. Did you verify? Did you check? Or did you just accept the papers because they looked legitimate? Vincent's expression darkened, which meant no. He hadn't checked. Olivia, his voice cut like a blade. Bring me the acquisition papers for Titan and get Alessandro Russo on the phone. Olivia appeared instantly. The breeder? Yes, she left, returned 3 minutes later with a file folder and a phone. Vincent put it on speaker. It rang twice. Alessandro Russo. Alessandro, Vincent Accardi. A pause, then carefully. Mr. Accardi, what can I do for you? Titan, the dog you sold me 3 years ago. Where did you get him? Longer pause. I bred him myself. The papers are fake. I had them analyzed after my last handler got hospitalized. Vincent's voice stayed perfectly calm, perfectly cold. Where did you really get him? Mr. Accardi, I assure you, Alessandro. Quieter now, more dangerous. You sold me stolen property. Worse, you sold me a traumatized animal from a fighting ring. That dog put 3 of my people in the hospital. Cost me $200,000 in damages. I didn't know. You knew. Question is, who supplied you? Silence stretched, then barely audible. I can't say. They'll kill me. And I won't? Beat. Name now. More silence, and then Silas Corvino. He ran a fighting ring in Queens 7 years ago. Supplied dogs to matches in Jersey. Shut it down fast when police got close. That's all I know, I swear. Vincent's face went perfectly still. Not angry, not surprised, nothing. Thank you, Alessandro. That's very helpful. He hung up. Mara watched him, watched the micro expressions flickering across his face too fast for most people to catch. But she caught them. Shock, pain, betrayal. You know Silas Corvino. Not a question. Yes. How? Vincent walked to the window, stood there for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was empty. He's my underboss, second in command, most trusted man in my organization. Oh God. He's been with me 8 years, since I was 27. Rival family tried to kill me. Silas took a bullet, saved my life. Or staged it. Vincent turned. What? If Silas was running a dog fighting ring 7 years ago, he was already deep in criminal activity, building credentials. What if the ambush 8 years ago was planned? What if he took a non-fatal bullet to gain your trust? The silence that followed was deafening. Olivia spoke quietly from the doorway. If Silas has been a plant for 8 years, he's fed intel to your rivals about every business deal, every security protocol, every vulnerability. He's been positioning to take over, Marcus added, appearing behind Olivia. Patient, methodical. Vincent looked at Mara, really looked, like seeing her for the first time. And your dog exposed him. Titan remembers, Mara said. Dogs don't forget abuse or the people who caused it. Vincent moved to the terrace door, unlocked it, opened it. Titan stood there, 100 pounds of muscle and trauma and rage. If what you say is true, prove it. Mara should have been terrified, should have run. This dog had hospitalized 3 professional handlers. He was dangerous, unstable, a weapon. But she wasn't scared, she was heartbroken. She walked onto the terrace, dropped to her knees 10 feet from Titan, opened her arms, and started to sing. Dormi, dormi, piccolo guerriero, the Sicilian lullaby her grandmother taught her, the one she'd sung every night to a puppy afraid of thunderstorms. Titan's growl cut off like someone flipped a switch. His ears swiveled forward, his head tilted in that familiar way, confused, trying to remember. Dormi, dormi, piccolo guerriero. Mara's voice broke. Tears started falling, but she kept singing. It's me, baby. It's me. I never stopped looking. What happened next would be described by Vincent's security team as impossible. The pit bull that had terrorized a criminal organization, that had sent trained professionals to the hospital, that answered to no one, started crawling forward on his belly, submissive, vulnerable, broken. He reached Mara and collapsed into her, 100 pounds of muscle and trauma pressing against her chest, whining in a way that sounded heartbroken and relieved and confused all at once. Mara wrapped her arms around him, buried her face in his scarred fur, sobbed. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I couldn't protect you. Vincent stood in the doorway, gun half drawn, frozen. Olivia beside him, equally shocked. Boss, that's impossible. Apparently not. Marcus keyed his radio. All teams, stand down. Repeat, stand down. Vincent holstered his weapon, stepped onto the terrace, moved slowly, carefully, not wanting to break whatever miracle was happening. He stopped 5 feet away. How long did you have him? Mara looked up, face wet. 6 months. From when he was 8 weeks old until he was stolen at 6 months. I was 13. My father had just died. Mom was falling apart. Someone saw opportunity. They took him during a funeral. During the wake, backyard, I heard voices, shouting, Titan yelping. By the time I got outside, he was gone. She stroked the dog's head. I searched for 2 years. Every shelter, every rescue, every street. Police said stop wasting their time. But you didn't stop. How could I? He was family. Only family I had left after grandmother died. Fresh tears. I never stopped grieving. Vincent crouched down, eye level with her, with the dog. I bought him thinking he was just aggressive. Tried everything, training, medication, behavioral specialists. Nothing worked. I should have put him down. Why didn't you? Because he was the only honest thing in my world. Raw admission. Everyone else lies, performs, tells me what I want to hear. Titan showed me exactly what he was. Pure rage and survival. I respected that even as it frustrated me. He wasn't raging. He was traumatized. I know that now. Titan shifted between them, looking at Mara, then at Vincent, then back, like trying to understand this new dynamic. Vincent reached out slowly, let the dog sniff his hand. For the first time in 3 years, Titan didn't snap, didn't growl, just sniffed, assessed, accepted. Vincent's hand touched the dog's head. Gentle. Titan allowed it. I owe you an apology, Vincent said quietly. I didn't know what they did to you. Didn't know you'd been stolen. Tortured. If I had known. You would have done what? Mara asked. I would have burned down every dog fighting ring between here and Jersey. She believed him, which should have scared her, didn't. There's something else, Mara said. Alessandro told you Silas ran that ring. But if Silas stole Titan 7 years ago and sold him to Alessandro 3 years ago, that means 4 years unaccounted for, Vincent finished. Fighting rings, training him to be vicious. They didn't train him. They broke him. Vincent stood, pulled out his phone. Marcus, Giuseppe, Thomas, Leo, war room, 1 hour. He looked down at Mara, still kneeling with Titan. You said you needed until morning to decide. Do you still? No. No. I'm staying, I'm helping, and I'm taking my dog back. Our dog. What? He's ours now, both of ours. You have the history, I have the resources. Vincent extended his hand. Partners? Mara looked at the hand, at the man offering it, at the bite between them who'd been stolen, brutalized, and somehow survived. At the impossible situation she'd fallen into, at the choice in front of her. Walk away, go back to Queens, to safety, to poverty, to invisibility, or stay, fight, risk everything. Her grandmother's voice echoed again. Do right even when it costs you. Mara took his hand. Partners. His grip was firm, warm. He pulled her to her feet. Welcome to the family, Marichin. Titan barked. Once. Sharp. Like agreement. They both looked down at him, then at each other. And despite everything, despite the fear and confusion and danger, they both smiled. Because somehow, impossibly, they'd found each other. 3 broken pieces that fit together into something that might actually work, if they survived long enough to find out. The war room looked nothing like its name suggested. No camouflage, no military equipment, just a mahogany table, leather chairs, and technology that cost more than most people earned in a lifetime. 8 men sat around that table at midnight, each one dangerous in their own way. each one loyal to Vincent Accardi, supposedly. Vincent stood at the head, backlit by floor-to-ceiling windows showing Manhattan's glittering skyline. Mara sat to his right, Titan lying at her feet. The dog's presence was statement enough. Everyone in that room knew what Titan had been. Uncontrollable, vicious, a liability. Now he rested calmly beside a waitress none of them had met before tonight. That said more than words ever could. "Gentlemen," Vincent began, "we have a problem." Marcus, head of security, shifted in his seat, 40 years old with scar tissue that told stories. He'd been with Vincent since the beginning. The poison attempt. That's the symptom, not the disease. Vincent pulled up images on the wall-mounted screen, financial records, shipping manifest, security logs. For the past 3 years, our operations have been compromised. Small things at first, a shipment intercepted, a warehouse raid, nothing catastrophic but consistent. Giuseppe Romano, the consigliere, leaned forward, 45, silver at his temples, eyes that calculated odds faster than computers. "You think we have a mole?" "I know we have a mole." Vincent clicked to another screen. "Alessandro Russo, the breeder who sold me Titan. I had him investigated after Mara's revelation." The name hung in the air like smoke. Alessandro supplied fighting dogs to an underground ring 7 years ago. The ring was run by someone in this organization. Someone who used it to build criminal credentials before approaching me. Thomas Drake, head of finance, straightened his glasses. 38, looked like an accountant because he was one. The kind who knew how to make blood money look clean. "Who?" "Silas Corvino." The room erupted, voices overlapping, denials, shock, anger. Vincent raised his hand. Silence fell instantly. "Silas has been my underboss for 8 years, since that ambush in Red Hook where he supposedly saved my life by taking a bullet meant for me." Leo Marchetti, logistics coordinator, spoke carefully. "Boss, that's a serious accusation. Silas is family." "So was my uncle," Vincent said quietly, "until he killed my father." That silenced everyone. They all knew the story. 10 years ago, Vincent's uncle Paolo had shot his own brother during a family dinner. Vincent had killed Paolo in response. The betrayal that taught him trust was a luxury he couldn't afford. Mara watched each man's face, reading micro-expressions, body language, looking for tells. Marcus looked shocked but not surprised, like he'd suspected something but never had proof. Giuseppe looked calculating, already running scenarios, planning contingencies. Thomas looked ill, like the foundation of his world had cracked. Leo looked skeptical, still not convinced. The others, Angelo Costa, the enforcer, and 3 captains Mara didn't know yet, showed various degrees of disbelief and anger. But no one looked guilty, which meant either Silas worked alone or his accomplice was very good at hiding. "The dog," Angelo said suddenly, "built like a tank, 50 years old, knuckles scarred from decades of violence." "What's the dog got to do with this?" Mara spoke for the first time. "Titan was stolen from my backyard 7 years ago. He ended up in Silas's fighting ring. 4 years of abuse before being sold to Alessandro, who sold him to Vincent 3 years ago." "So?" Angelo didn't sound hostile, just confused. "So dogs don't forget trauma, or the people who caused it." She looked down at Titan. "Show them." She stood. Titan rose with her. They walked around the table slowly. Titan sniffed each man. Marcus, no reaction. Giuseppe, nothing. Thomas, Leo, Angelo, all fine. They completed the circle and returned to their seats. "See," Mara said, "he's calm with everyone here. But when Silas visited the penthouse 2 days ago, Titan went ballistic, tried to attack him through the door." "Dogs are unpredictable," Leo said. "Not like this, not this specifically." Vincent pulled up more files. "After Mara's observation, I had my team dig deeper. Silas has an offshore account. Regular deposits from a shell company traced back to the Marchetti family." "The Marchettis have been trying to take our territory for 3 years," Giuseppe said slowly. "And Silas has been feeding them intelligence for possibly 8. Vincent's voice went cold. "Every security protocol, every shipment route, every business deal. He's been positioning himself to facilitate our destruction from the inside." Marcus slammed his fist on the table. "Then we bring him in, question him, Make him talk. No, Vincent stayed calm. If we move on Silas directly, he'll know we're on to him. He'll activate whatever endgame he's planned. We need proof first. Then we act. What kind of proof? Thomas asked. The kind that holds up. Financial records, communications, witnesses. Vincent looked at each man. I need to know I can trust everyone in this room. Because if Silas has been a plant for 8 years, there might be others. Silence. Uncomfortable. Each man looking at the others with new suspicion. I've been with you since your father died, Marcus said quietly. You know my loyalty. I thought I knew Silas's loyalty. Vincent's voice carried old pain. I was wrong. So what do we do? Giuseppe asked. We investigate. Quietly. Marcus, I need surveillance on Silas. Every meeting, every phone call, every movement. On it. Thomas, deep dive into his finances. Every account, every transaction. I want to know if he's bought a coffee in the past 8 years. Understood. Giuseppe, reach out to your contacts in the Marchetti organization. See if anyone's willing to talk. Money, immunity, whatever it takes. Giuseppe nodded. Leo, review our compromise operations. Find the pattern. Show me how Silas could have sabotaged each one. Yes, boss, Vincent turned to Mara. You watch, observe. Tell me what you see that we're missing. And Silas? Angelo asked. Do we pretend everything's normal? Exactly that. Business as usual. He can't know we suspect. The meeting continued another hour, assignments distributed, plans made. By 2 in the morning, everyone had their orders. As the room cleared, Giuseppe lingered. Boss, a word? Vincent gestured for Mara to stay. Speak freely. Giuseppe glanced at her, then back to Vincent. You're trusting her very quickly. She saved my life, exposed our traitor. What more proof do you need? I'm not questioning her actions. I'm questioning the speed. Giuseppe's voice softened. You're not usually impulsive. This woman appears in your life 12 hours ago, and now she's in our war room, sitting beside you, influencing decisions. She's not influencing, she's observing. Is she? Giuseppe looked at Mara directly. No offense intended. But who are you, really? A waitress who happens to see poison? Who happens to recognize a tune? Who happens to have the exact skills we need right when we need them? Mara met his gaze steadily. You think I'm a plant? I think the timing is suspicious. Fair. She didn't look away. If I were you, I'd think the same thing. So investigate me. Check my background. Talk to my former employers. Verify every detail of my life. We already are, Giuseppe said. Not apologetically, just fact. Good. You'll find I'm exactly who I say I am. A girl from Queens who worked 3 jobs to survive, who lost her dog 7 years ago, who got unlucky enough to see something she shouldn't have. Or lucky enough, Giuseppe countered. Depending on perspective. Vincent stepped between them. Not physically, but his presence created separation. Giuseppe, I appreciate your caution. But Mara's not the enemy. How do you know? Because Titan trusts her, and Titan's judgment has proven better than mine. Giuseppe looked at the dog, at Mara, at Vincent, then sighed. You're different with her. Softer. That makes you vulnerable. Or stronger. We'll find out. Vincent's tone indicated the conversation was over. Run your background check. But don't waste resources we need elsewhere. After Giuseppe left, Mara turned to Vincent. He's right to be suspicious. I know. And you're right to trust me. But he doesn't know that yet. He will. Vincent looked tired suddenly, the exhaustion he kept hidden breaking through. You should rest. Guest room is down the hall. Olivia prepared it. What about you? Work. Always work. When do you sleep? When I'm dead. Mara didn't smile. That might be sooner than you think if you don't take care of yourself. Something flickered in his eyes, surprise maybe. People didn't usually worry about Vincent Accardi's well-being. They worried about his anger, his power, his capacity for violence, but not whether he slept enough. I'll rest when this is handled, he said. Stubborn. Practical. Same thing. She called Titan. The dog stood, stretched. Come on, boy, let's find that guest room. As she walked away, Vincent spoke. Mara, she turned. Thank you for caring. Don't thank me yet. I might turn out to be exactly what Giuseppe fears. But you're not. How do you know? Vincent smiled. Small, genuine. Because if you were a plant, you'd have let me drink that poison. He had a point. The guest room was larger than Mara's entire apartment. King-size bed with silk sheets. Bathroom with marble everything. Walk-in closet already stocked with clothes in her exact size. Olivia's work, clearly. Mara sat on the bed. Titan jumped up beside her, something he definitely wasn't allowed to do. She didn't care. She stroked his head, feeling scars under the fur. Damage from years of fighting. Years of abuse she couldn't prevent. I'm sorry, she whispered. I should have protected you better. Should have been there when they took you. Titan looked at her with eyes that held no blame. Just acceptance. Just love. Dogs were better than people that way. Her phone buzzed. She'd almost forgotten she had it. The screen showed 17 missed calls from Miguel. 3 from Marco, dozens of texts. She called Miguel back. Mara, thank God, are you okay? We heard gunshots and you disappeared and the restaurant is destroyed and Marco said men took you and... Miguel, breathe, I'm okay. Where are you? Somewhere safe. That's not an answer. It's the only answer I can give right now. Silence. Then quietly. Are you in trouble? I'm in complicated. Do you need help? Sweet Miguel, who had his own problems, his own struggles, still offering help. No, but thank you. I'll be okay. When are you coming back? I don't know. Mara, I have to go. Tell Marco I'm sorry about the restaurant. I'll make it right somehow. She hung up before he could ask more questions she couldn't answer. Her old life felt like a dream already, like something that happened to someone else. Had it really been only 12 hours since she was serving lunch at Rossi's? Since her biggest worry was rent money? Now she was in a penthouse with a mafia boss, hunting a traitor, trying not to get killed. Her grandmother would either be proud or horrified. Maybe both. Mara lay back on silk sheets that probably cost more than her monthly rent. Titan curled against her side. Warm, solid, real. She closed her eyes, didn't expect to sleep. Slept anyway. She woke to Titan growling. Low, dangerous, the sound that preceded violence. Mara sat up fast. The room was dark. Clock said 4:30 in the morning. She'd slept 2 hours. Titan stood at the door, hackles raised, entire body tense. Someone was in the hallway. Mara slipped out of bed, looked around for a weapon, found nothing. Guest rooms didn't stock knives or guns, apparently. The doorknob turned slowly. Titan's growl intensified. Easy, boy, Mara whispered. Wait. The door opened. A figure stepped through. Large. Male. Moving with practiced silence. Titan launched. The man swore, bringing his arm up just in time. Titan's jaws closed on the jacket sleeve instead of flesh. Lights blazed on. Marcus stood there, Titan hanging from his arm, looking more annoyed than scared. Call off your dipito, Mara. Titan, foe! The command Vincent had taught her earlier. Stop! Titan released immediately, stepped back, but stayed between Mara and Marcus, protective. What are you doing here? Mara demanded. Checking security, making sure you're safe. By sneaking into my room at 4:30 in the morning? Marcus had the grace to look uncomfortable. I was quiet, didn't want to wake you. But you did, because your dog has better hearing than my entire security team. He examined his jacket sleeve. Tooth marks, but no tears. Damn, he's got control now. He's got purpose, Mara corrected, protecting me. Lucky you. Marcus met her eyes. Look, I'm sorry for scaring you. But after tonight, after Silas, I'm not taking chances. I'm checking every room. Every person. Every potential threat. You think I'm a threat? I think everyone's a threat until proven otherwise. It's how Vincent's stayed alive this long. Fair point. Giuseppe ordered the background check, Marcus continued. Results came back 20 minutes ago. You're clean. Everything you said checks out. 3 debts. Medical debt. Brother died from heart condition 2 years ago. Grandmother died 5 years before that. Father killed in construction accident when you were 6. Mother overdosed a year later. Mara's chest tightened. You investigated my mother? We investigated everything. No apology in his voice. Your family had bad luck. I'm sorry for that. But it makes you sympathetic. And sympathy can be weaponized. I'm not a weapon. Everyone's a weapon. Question is who's wielding you? He turned to leave, then paused. For what it's worth, I don't think you're a plant. I think you're exactly what you appear to be. Good person in bad situation trying to survive. Is that supposed to be comforting? It's supposed to be honest. He left, closing the door quietly behind him. Mara sat back on the bed. Titan jumped up again, this time resting his head on her lap. Her phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. Can't sleep either? Come to the kitchen. I'm making breakfast. V. Mara shouldn't go. Should stay in this safe room. Let the dangerous men handle dangerous business. Instead, she stood. Come on, Titan. Let's go see what a mafia boss cooks at 4:45 in the morning. The kitchen was restaurant grade, stainless steel everything, appliances that cost more than cars, and Vincent Accardi standing at the stove in jeans and a t-shirt, looking more human than she'd seen him yet. You cook, Mara said from the doorway. My mother taught me before she died. Said a man who can't feed himself can't lead anyone. Smart woman. She was. He cracked eggs into a pan, added cheese, herbs, vegetables with the confidence of practice. Coffee's ready. Help yourself. Mara poured a cup, black. She couldn't afford cream and sugar in her old life. The taste of black coffee meant survival. Marcus came to my room. I know, I sent him. To check if I'd run? To make sure you were safe. He glanced back. I don't trust Silas not to make a move. If he knows you exposed him, you're a target. Does he know? Not yet, but he will. People talk, rumors spread. We have maybe 24 hours before word reaches him. Then what? Then things get messy. Vincent plated the omelet with precision that would make restaurant chefs jealous. Set it in front of her. Eat, you'll need your strength. The omelet was perfect, fluffy, seasoned just right. Mara ate slowly, savoring each bite. When had she last eaten? The lunch shift at Rossi's, 18 hours ago. Vincent made a second omelet for himself, sat across from her. They ate in comfortable silence. Finally, Mara spoke. Your mother, what happened to her? Cancer, I was 17. She fought for 3 years. Refused to quit even when doctors said there was no hope. Like you. Vincent looked up. What? Refusing to quit. Fighting even when odds are bad. You learned from her. Something crossed his face. Recognition. Pain. I suppose I did. My grandmother was the same. Lung cancer from working in a chemical factory 30 years. Never smoked a day in her life. But the factory killed her anyway. That's not fair. Life rarely is. They finished eating. Vincent collected the plates, rinsed them, loaded the dishwasher. Domestic actions that seemed surreal coming from a man who commanded a criminal empire. Why did you really want me to come down here? Mara asked. Vincent dried his hands, leaned against the counter. Because I wanted to talk to someone who isn't afraid of me. I'm terrified of you. But you're here anyway. That's different than fear that makes people obey. You're afraid, but you still challenge me. Still question. Still see me as human instead of just dangerous. You are human and dangerous. Most people only see one or the other. Mara studied him, really looked past the expensive clothes and deadly reputation, saw the exhaustion, the loneliness, the weight of leading an organization where everyone wanted something from him. When's the last time you trusted someone? She asked. 8 years ago, for Silas's betrayal. That's not sustainable. It's survival. It's isolation. She stood, moved closer. You said Titan was the only honest thing in your world. But isolation isn't honesty. It's just alone. Vincent's eyes locked on hers. What do you suggest? I suggest you start trusting again. Carefully, gradually, but start. With who? With me. I barely know you. You know I saved your life. You know I reunited you with truth about Titan. You know I'm sitting in your kitchen at 5 in the morning instead of running away. She met his gaze steadily. That's more than most people have proven. He moved closer, close enough she could feel the heat radiating from him, close enough to see gold flecks in his dark eyes. And if I trust you and you betray me, then you kill me, like you killed your uncle, like you'll kill Silas. Her voice didn't waver. But I won't betray you. How can you promise that? Because betrayal requires malice, and I don't have any. I'm just trying to survive and protect my and maybe do something right for once in my life. Vincent's hand came up, hesitated, then touched her face, gentle, like she was something breakable. You're dangerous, he said softly. How? Because you make me want things I can't afford. Hope, connection, trust. Maybe you can afford them now. Maybe. He leaned closer. She didn't back away. Their lips almost touched, breath mingling, moment crystallizing. Titan barked, sharp, urgent. They jumped apart. Marcus burst into the kitchen. Boss, we have a problem. Silas just called emergency meeting. Says it's urgent. About the poison attempt last night. Vincent's expression shifted instantly, from vulnerable to commanding. When? 30 minutes, the warehouse in Red Hook. That's fast. Too fast, Marcus agreed. Feels like a move. Vincent looked at Mara. This is your last chance to walk away. Things are about to get dangerous. Mara thought about her old life. 3 jobs, $47, medical debt, invisibility. Then looked at Titan, at Vincent, at the impossible situation that somehow felt more real than anything in her old world. I'm not walking away. You should, but I won't. She straightened her spine. You said I see things others miss, so let me see, let me help. If shooting starts, I drop and stay down. I know. You already told me. She tried to smile. I'm a fast learner. Vincent studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Marcus, get body armor, size small, and brief her on emergency protocols. Boss, that's an order. Marcus left, clearly unhappy but obedient. Vincent turned back to Mara. This is dangerous, more dangerous than last night. Are you absolutely certain? No, but I'm doing it anyway. He almost smiled. That's possibly the most honest thing anyone's ever said to me. 30 minutes later, Mara sat in the back of an SUV wearing body armor under a black sweater. Titan beside her, wearing a tactical vest Marcus had found somewhere. Giuseppe sat in front, Thomas in the other vehicle, Leo coordinating from a van. The convoy moved through pre-dawn Manhattan like sharks through water. Silent, purposeful, deadly. Marcus's voice came through everyone's earpieces. Warehouse is secure. Silas is already inside with 4 of his personal team. Unknown contacts in the south corner. Thermals show 3 additional bodies. 7 against our 12, Giuseppe noted, unless Silas brought more we haven't detected. Or unless some of our 12 aren't loyal, Vincent said quietly. That silenced everyone. They pulled up to the Red Hook warehouse. Concrete, steel, darkness. The kind of place where bad things happened and nobody asked questions. Vincent looked at Mara. Stay in the vehicle until I signal. What's the signal? You'll know. He got out. Marcus and 2 guards followed. They disappeared into the warehouse. Mara waited, counted heartbeats, tried not to imagine everything that could go wrong. Giuseppe turned around. For what it's worth, I hope I'm wrong about you. You are. We'll see. He checked his weapon. If things go bad, hit the floor. Marcus will extract you. What about Vincent? Vincent's been doing this since before you were born. He'll be fine. Mara wasn't so sure. 5 minutes passed. 10. 15. Then her earpiece crackled. Vincent's voice. Mara, now. She opened the door. Titan jumped out first, scanning for threats. She followed, moving toward the warehouse entrance. Inside was chaos barely contained. 20 men in a standoff. Weapons not drawn but hands near holsters. Vincent at one end, Silas at the other. Silas Corvino. 42, slicked hair, charming smile that didn't reach his eyes. He radiated the kind of charisma that made people follow him, until they realized following him meant walking off a cliff. Vincent, Silas called out, warm, friendly. Thank God you're safe. When I heard about the poison attempt, I mobilized immediately. We need to discuss security protocols. Do we? Vincent's voice was ice. Or do we need to discuss who ordered the poison? Silas's smile faltered, just for a second. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting someone inside my organization tried to kill me. Someone who's been feeding information to the Marchetti family for years. That's a serious accusation. It's a provable fact. Mara entered, every eye turned to her. She felt the weight of their attention. Predators assessing prey, but Titan felt it more. His entire body went rigid, muscles coiled, a growl building in his chest that promised violence. Not toward anyone random, towards Silas specifically. Silas's expression changed. The charming mask slipped, showed something cold underneath. Vincent, why is there a woman and a dog in our meeting? The woman saved my life. The dog exposed you. I don't understand. Don't you? Vincent moved closer. 7 years ago, you ran a dog fighting ring in Queens, stole pets, tortured them, sold them to generate capital and build criminal credentials. That's absurd. That because Titan here, the dog you stole when he was 6 months old, remembers you. Don't you, boy? Titan's growl intensified, lips pulling back, every instinct screaming to attack the person who'd caused years of trauma. Silas tried to laugh. Vincent, you're trusting a dog over me? After 8 years together? Alessandro Russo confirmed you supplied him. Financial records show payments from Marchetti family to your offshore accounts. Security logs prove you had access to sabotage every compromise operation. Vincent's voice dropped to deadly quiet. You staged the ambush 8 years ago, took a non-fatal bullet, became my trusted underboss, spent 8 years feeding intelligence to my enemies while positioning yourself to take over. The warehouse went silent, every man processing, calculating, choosing sides. Silas's mask dropped completely. The charm evaporated. What remained was cold calculation. Fine, you want truth? Yes, I staged the ambush. Yes, I've been working with Marchetti. Yes, I poisoned you. Gasps around the room. Weapons started appearing. But, Silas continued, pulling out a phone, you should have killed me when you had the chance. He pressed a button. Nothing happened. Silas pressed again. Confusion flickering across his face. Vincent smiled, cold, predatory. Looking for the bombs you planted under the warehouse? Marcus found them 3 hours ago. Disarmed. Removed. You really thought I'd walk into your trap without checking? Silas's face went pale. Here's what's going to happen, Vincent said. You're going to tell me everything. Every contact, every operation, every plan. And then you're going to disappear. Not die, disappear. Because killing you would make you a martyr. But making you irrelevant? That's justice. Silas pulled a gun. Fast, professional, pointed it at Mara. Or, Silas said, I kill your new pet and walk out of here. Time slowed. Titan moved first, launching himself at Silas with speed that defied his size. Silas swung the gun toward the dog. Mara didn't think. Grabbed a piece of rebar leaning against the wall, threw it. The rebar hit Silas's gun arm. His shot went wild, bullets sparking off concrete somewhere to the left. Titan hit him like a freight train. Both crashed to the ground, but Titan didn't bite, didn't kill, just pinned. Jaws locked on Silas's gun arm, preventing him from reaching a backup weapon. Vincent was there in seconds, gun pressed to Silas's temple. Call off your men, now. Silas laughed through pain. Or what? You'll kill me in front of everyone? Show them you're exactly what they fear? No. Vincent's voice was perfectly calm. I'll let the dog finish what you started 7 years ago. Silas's eyes went to Titan, to the 100 pounds of controlled fury holding him down, to the trauma he'd inflicted coming back to collect its debt. Fine, stand down. He called to his men. All of you, stand down. Weapons lowered, slowly, reluctantly. Marcus and Giuseppe moved in with zip ties, bound Silas's hands, pulled him to his feet. Titan released but stayed close, protective. Vincent holstered his weapon, looked at Mara. You threw rebar. You're welcome. I had the situation under control. Did you? Because from where I stood, you were about to let a traitor walk out. I had a plan. So did I. Mine worked faster. Despite everything, Vincent smiled. You're going to be trouble, aren't you? Probably. Around them, the warehouse cleared. Silas was taken away. His men surrendered or fled. The immediate threat neutralized. But Mara knew this wasn't over. Silas was symptom, not disease. The Marchetti family still wanted Vincent's territory. Other enemies still circled. This was just the beginning. Vincent approached her, close, in front of everyone, making a statement. Thank you for saving my life, again. That's twice now. You're racking up debt. How do you want me to repay it? Mara looked at Titan, at the Tau who'd survived hell, who'd found his way back to her through impossible odds. Teach me, she said. Teach me to survive in your world, to fight, to protect myself, so next time I'm not just throwing rebar and hoping. Vincent studied her. You want to stay? I want to be ready. There's a difference. He extended his hand. Then let's make you dangerous. She took his hand, felt the strength there, the promise, the beginning of something that would either save them both or destroy them. Time would tell which. 3 months changed everything. Mara stood in the penthouse training room at 6 in the morning, sweat dripping down her spine, muscles burning from the workout that had started an hour earlier. Marcus circled her like a predator, assessing prey. Again, he said. She didn't argue, dropped into fighting stance, feet shoulder-width apart, hands up, center of gravity low. Marcus attacked. Fast, professional, no mercy. Mara dodged left, his fist passed inches from her face. She countered with a palm strike to his solar plexus. Not hard enough to damage, but enough to score the point. Marcus grunted approval. Better. You're finally thinking 3 moves ahead instead of just reacting. Only took 12 weeks of getting my face punched. 11 weeks. First week you just fell down a lot. Fair point. The training had been brutal. Marcus taught hand-to-hand combat with the efficiency of someone who'd kill people with his bare hands. Angelo taught weapons. Giuseppe taught psychology and manipulation. Thomas taught financial forensics. Leo taught logistics and escape routes. But Vincent taught something more valuable. He taught her to see the whole board, to think like someone who played chess with human lives. Every morning started with physical training, 2 hours of combat, cardio, weapons handling. Then breakfast with Vincent, where they discussed organization business. She learned the legitimate operations, real estate holdings, import-export companies, investment portfolios that generated hundreds of millions legally. She also learned the gray areas, protection rackets that technically provided security, gambling operations that technically followed regulations, money lending that technically wasn't loan sharking. Vincent was transitioning the organization away from pure crime toward legitimate business, slowly, carefully, but deliberately. My father built this empire on violence, he told her one morning over coffee. I'm rebuilding it on economics. Violence is unsustainable. Economics is forever. Afternoons meant sitting in on meetings, watching deals negotiated, observing how Vincent commanded loyalty through respect instead of fear, learning the difference between power and control. Evenings were hers, usually spent with Titan, whose transformation had been as dramatic as her own. The vicious, uncontrollable weapon had become a trained protection dog, still dangerous, still capable of extreme violence, but controlled, purposeful. He responded to commands in English and Italian, knew when to threaten and when to stand down, had become an extension of Mara's will rather than a creature of pure instinct. You changed him, Olivia had observed one night, gave him purpose instead of just survival. I gave him love, Mara corrected. Purpose came from that. Now 3 months later, Mara barely recognized herself. Her body was leaner, stronger, her reflexes sharper, her mind more calculating. She could disarm an attacker, spot financial fraud in seconds, read body language like a book, and shoot accurately at 50 yards. She'd become dangerous. But the most significant change wasn't physical. It was Vincent. They'd grown closer. Gradually, inevitably. Like gravity pulling 2 objects together. It started small, his hand on her back guiding her through a crowded room, her touching his arm when he looked too stressed. Shared glances across conference tables that communicated without words, then larger. Him asking her opinion on business decisions, her challenging his strategies when she saw flaws, arguments that ended in laughter instead of anger, conversations that stretched past midnight about everything and nothing. The moment she knew things had shifted came 6 weeks ago. Vincent had a nightmare. She heard him through the walls, went to check, found him sitting on his bed, shaking, sweat-soaked. "My father," he'd said. "I keep seeing him die, keep hearing the gunshot, can't make it stop." She'd sat beside him, didn't offer empty comfort, just presence, just stayed. He'd leaned into her. She'd held him. They'd fallen asleep like that. Since then, the boundaries had blurred. Not crossed, but definitely blurred. Giuseppe noticed. "Boss is different with you." "Different how?" "Softer, slower to anger, actually sleeps occasionally." Giuseppe had studied her. "You're good for him. That makes you valuable, but also a target. I can handle myself now. Can you handle being the person Vincent Accardi loves?" The word hung between them. Love. Neither Vincent nor Mara had said it, but it was there. Growing, inevitable. "I'll handle whatever comes," Mara had said. "That's what I'm afraid of." Now finishing training with Marcus, Mara felt ready for whatever came next. She should have known the universe would test that immediately. Marcus's phone buzzed. He checked it. His expression darkened. "Boss needs us. War room, now." Mara grabbed a towel, wiped sweat from her face. "What happened?" "Marchetti family. They're making a move." The war room was already full when they arrived. Vincent stood at the head of the table, looking at screens showing security footage, financial reports, intelligence documents. "3 hours ago," Vincent began without preamble, "the Marchetti family bought the building housing our primary shipping operation. They're using a shell company, but Giuseppe traced it back." "They can't just kick us out," Leo said. "We have a lease." "They can if they prove the lease was fraudulent, which they're claiming." Vincent pulled up legal documents. "They filed with the city. Hearing is in 2 weeks. "Can we fight it?" Thomas asked. "Legally, maybe, but it'll take months, years. Meanwhile, they control our main distribution hub." Giuseppe leaned forward. "This is retaliation for Silas. We neutralized their inside man. They're responding by attacking infrastructure." "It's more than that." Vincent's voice was grim. "This is the opening move. They're going to try to dismantle us piece by piece, property by property, operation by operation." Angelo cracked his knuckles. "Then we hit back. Hard." "With what? Open war?" Vincent shook his head. "That's what they want. Violence draws attention. Attention brings federal investigation. They're trying to bait us into destroying ourselves." Mara had been quiet, studying the documents. Now she spoke. "The building they bought. When did the sale finalize?" "This morning." "And when did they file the lease dispute?" "Same day." "That's too fast. Real estate transactions take weeks to process. Inspections, title searches, legal review." Her mind raced, connecting dots. "Unless they bought it months ago and only revealed ownership now." Everyone looked at her. "So," Angelo said, "so if they bought it months ago, that means this was planned before we exposed Silas, which means Silas's betrayal was part of a larger strategy. Exposure was always a possibility they'd accounted for." Vincent's eyes narrowed. "You're saying they have multiple contingencies?" "I'm saying they're playing chess while we're playing checkers. Silas was one piece. There are others." "Other moles?" Marcus looked like he wanted to shoot someone. "Not necessarily, but other operations, other angles of attack we haven't seen yet." Giuseppe nodded slowly. "She's right, the Marchetti family doesn't operate on single strategies. They layer." "Then we need to see the whole board," Vincent said. "Thomas, I want financial analysis of every property transaction in our territory for the past year. Look for shell companies that might be Marchetti fronts." "On it." "Leo, review all our operations. Find vulnerabilities they might exploit." "Yes, boss." "Marcus, increase security at every location. I want eyes everywhere." "Understood." Vincent looked at Mara. "You keep observing. Tell me what we're missing." The meeting continued 2 more hours. Strategies discussed, resources allocated, contingencies planned. By noon, everyone had assignments. Mara headed to Vincent's study to help Thomas with financial analysis. Her bookkeeping background made her valuable for spotting irregularities. They worked in focused silence, numbers flowing across screens, patterns emerging. Most were legitimate, some were suspicious. A few were definitely fraudulent. Here, Mara said, pointing to a transaction, this property was sold 3 times in 6 months, each time at a loss. That's a money laundering red flag. Thomas highlighted it. Good catch. What else? They worked until evening. Found 17 suspicious transactions. 12 traced back to known Marchetti associates. 5 remained unknown. The unknown ones worry me, Thomas said. Could be Marchetti, could be another player entirely. Or could be someone trying to play both sides, Mara suggested, selling information to whoever pays. That's worse than loyalty to an enemy. At least enemies are predictable. Vincent appeared in the doorway. Progress? Thomas summarized their findings. Vincent listened, expression unreadable. When Thomas finished, Vincent nodded. Good work. Keep digging. He looked at Mara. Can I borrow you? She followed him out, through hallways she now knew by heart. But instead of going to his office or the living room, he led her to the terrace. Night had fallen. Manhattan glittered below like stars brought to earth. The city that never slept, full of millions of people living millions of lives, unaware that empires rose and fell in penthouses above them. Titan was already there, enjoying the cool evening air. He trotted over, tail wagging, pressed against Mara's legs. Hey boy, she murmured, scratching behind his ears. Vincent leaned against the railing, silent, thinking. Mara waited. She'd learned patience these past months. Learned that Vincent spoke when ready, not before. Finally, do you ever regret it? Regret what? Staying, getting involved. You could have walked away that first night, taken witness protection, started over somewhere safe. Mara considered. Sometimes I wonder what that life would have looked like. New name, new city, waitressing somewhere quiet, normal. But normal is overrated. And I'd have lost Titan, lost you, lost myself, really. Because this version of me, the one who can fight and strategize and hold her own in your world, she's more real than the girl serving eggs in Queens ever was. Vincent turned to face her. You've changed. So have you. You smile more, sleep occasionally, haven't threatened to kill anyone in weeks. That's because you're a civilizing influence. Or because you're finally building something worth protecting instead of just defending territory. He moved closer. When did you get so wise? When I started paying attention. You're a good teacher. You're a better student. They stood inches apart. The tension that had been building for months crystallized into this moment, this choice. Vincent's hand came up, cupped her face, thumb tracing her cheekbone with devastating gentleness. Mara. Yes? I'm going to kiss you. If you don't want that, say so now. Her heart hammered. And if I do want it, then stop talking. She stopped talking. His lips met hers, soft at first, testing, then deeper as she responded. Her hands found his chest. His arms pulled her closer. The kiss went from question to answer to promise. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Vincent rested his forehead against hers. I love you. 3 words, simple, devastating. Mara's breath caught. Vincent, you don't have to say it back. I just needed you to know. In case tomorrow everything goes wrong, in case the Marchetti family succeeds, in case I don't get another chance. His voice was raw, vulnerable. I love you. You saved my life and gave me a reason to want that life saved. You're the best thing that has happened to me in 10 years. Mara pulled back slightly, looked into his eyes, saw fear there, fear of rejection, fear of loss, fear of caring about something he might not get to keep. I love you too, she said. I've loved you since you cooked me an omelet at 5 in the morning, since you trusted me to help expose Silas, since you looked at Titan and saw potential instead of just damage. That was 3 months ago. I know, I'm slow. He laughed, actually laughed. then kissed her again. Longer, deeper, like making up for lost time. When they came up for air, Titan was sitting between them, looking extremely unimpressed. Jealous dog, Vincent muttered. Protective dog, Mara corrected. He's making sure you're treating me right. And if I'm not, then he'll eat you. Fair. They stood together, looking out at the city. Mara leaned into Vincent's warmth, his arm around her shoulders, Titan at their feet. A moment of peace before the storm they all knew was coming. Marry me, Vincent said suddenly. Mara's head whipped around. What? Marry me, Baishi. Be my partner officially, my equal, my family. Vincent, we just said I love you 30 seconds ago. And I've wasted 10 years being alone. I'm not wasting more time. He turned to face her fully. I know it's fast, I know it's crazy, but everything about us has been fast and crazy. Why should this be different? Because marriage is permanent. So is death. I'd rather be permanently with you than permanently wondering what if. Mara's mind raced. Every logical reason to say no lined up. Too fast, too dangerous, too complicated. But her heart didn't care about logic. Yes, 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 I'll marry you on one condition. Vincent raised an eyebrow. Name it. Titan walks me down the aisle. He laughed. Done. What else? I want a real wedding, not courthouse, something meaningful. Whatever you want. And I'm keeping my name hyphenated. Mara Chanakardi, I like it. She kissed him, softer this time, sealing the deal. You're insane, she whispered. Probably, but I'm insane about you, so it works. They went inside eventually, told no one yet, just held the secret between them like treasure. That night, Mara lay in bed, Titan curled beside her, and wondered if she was making the biggest mistake of her life, or the best decision. Morning would tell. Morning brought chaos. Mara woke to her phone buzzing. 5 a.m., text from Giuseppe. War room, now, emergency. She dressed fast, combat boots, tactical pants, fitted shirt. The kind of outfit she'd never have imagined wearing 6 months ago. Now it was her normal. Vincent was already in the war room when she arrived. So was everyone else, all looking grim. What happened? She asked. Vincent pulled up news footage. Manhattan Morning News. The headline made her stomach drop. Manhattan crime lord Vincent Accardi linked to illegal operations. The reporter detailed accusations. Money laundering, racketeering, witness intimidation. Federal investigators had been tipped off about multiple properties and operations. Who leaked? Marcus demanded. Marchetti, Vincent said. Has to be. They bought the building, filed the lawsuit. Now they're bringing federal heat. They're trying to bury us under legal pressure. Can they prove anything? Leo asked. Some of it, yes. Most of our operations walk legal lines. A determined prosecutor could make cases. Vincent's jaw tightened. This is coordinated. Property attack, legal attack, media attack. They're hitting us from every angle simultaneously. Mara studied the news footage. Something bothered her. The reporter, Amanda Sullivan. She's known for thorough investigation. These stories usually take months to research. But this aired overnight? So either the Marchetti family fed her a complete package of evidence, which means they've been building this case for months, or what? Giuseppe asked. Or Amanda Sullivan is compromised, working with them directly. Thomas pulled up Sullivan's background. She's been investigating organized crime for 10 years. Reputable, multiple awards, no known connections to criminal organizations. Check her finances, Mara said. Last 6 months. Look for irregular deposits. Thomas typed fast. His eyes widened. 3 payments, $50,000 each, from a shell company. Same shell company that bought our building. They bought her, Angelo growled. Bought a reporter to destroy us. That we can use, Vincent said. If we can prove she took money to run false stories, everything she reported becomes questionable. Discredits the federal investigation before it starts. How do we prove it? Marcus asked. Mara's mind worked through options. We need her bank records, her communications with the shell company, evidence of coordination. That's protected information, Thomas said. Even I can't access it without triggering alarms. Then we don't access it. We make her give it to us. Everyone looked at Mara. How? Vincent asked. We offer her something better. A real story. Evidence of Marchetti family corruption that makes Vincent look small by comparison. But only if she helps us first. Giuseppe nodded slowly. Play her ambition against her greed. Smart. Can we actually deliver evidence against Marchetti? Leo asked. We've been building it for 3 months, Vincent said, since we took down Silas. Financial records, witness statements, operation details, it's all documented. Then we have leverage. Mara looked at Vincent. Let me approach her, alone. No muscle, no intimidation, just one woman to another offering a career-making story. Too dangerous, Marcus said immediately. It's perfect, Giuseppe countered. She won't see Mara as a threat. She'll see opportunity. Vincent studied Mara for a long moment. You sure about this? No, but I'm doing it anyway. He almost smiled. You keep saying that because you keep asking. The meeting shifted to planning, how to approach Sullivan, what to offer, what to hold back. By noon, they had a strategy. Mara would reach out claiming to be a whistleblower inside Vincent's organization, someone with evidence who wanted to make a deal. Sullivan wouldn't be able to resist. At 2 p.m., Mara made the call. Amanda Sullivan. Ms. Sullivan, my name is Mara Chen. I work for Vincent Accardi. I have information about his operations that you'll want to hear. Pause, is this a joke? No joke, I'm willing to go on record. Provide evidence, but I need something in return. What? Protection. And I need to know you're legitimate, that you're not just running stories someone paid you to run. Longer pause. Meet me, public place, 1 hour. Bryant Park, West Side. I'll be wearing a red jacket. I'll be there. Mara hung up, looked at Vincent. She took the bait. Good. Marcus will have teams positioned around the park. You're never out of sight. She can't know that. She won't. My people are professionals. An hour later, Mara sat on a bench in Bryant Park wearing a red jacket and a wire so thin it was invisible. Titan lay at her feet, playing the part of a pet instead of a weapon. Amanda Sullivan arrived exactly on time. 40 years old, sharp eyes, recorder already in her hand. Ms. Chen? Ms. Sullivan, thank you for coming. Sullivan sat, eyed Titan warily. Does he bite? Only when I tell him to. That got a nervous laugh. So, you have information about Vincent Accardi. I have questions first. Your story this morning, the evidence. Where did it come from? Sources. I don't reveal sources. Even when those sources are criminal organizations paying you to run false stories? Sullivan's expression hardened. That's defamation. It's truth. The Marchetti family paid you $150,000 through a shell company called Empire Holdings, LLC. You ran their story without verification because the money was good. You can't prove that. I can. I have your bank records, your emails with Empire Holdings, your agreement to run their narrative in exchange for payment. Mara leaned forward. I also have proof that most of what you reported is either false or taken wildly out of context. Sullivan stood. This meeting is over. Sit down, unless you want those bank records sent to your editor, the FCC, and every journalism ethics board in the country. Sullivan sat. What do you want? Help us prove the Marchetti family bribed you. Testify that they fed you false information. In exchange, I'll give you the real story. Evidence of Marchetti operations that make Vincent's alleged crimes look like parking tickets. Why would I believe you have that? Because I'm not offering money. I'm offering truth. Isn't that what journalists are supposed to want? Sullivan studied her. You're not really a whistleblower, are you? No. You're with Accardi. Completely. Yes. Then why should I trust anything you say? Because unlike the Marchetti family, I'm not lying to you. Everything I've said is true. Check your accounts. Check your emails. You took their money and ran their story. That's a fact. Sullivan looked away, conflicted. Even if I wanted to help, which I'm not saying I do, the damage is done. The story's out. Federal investigators are already moving. Then help us prove it was based on lies. Redeem yourself. Turn this into a story about media manipulation and criminal organizations. That's a Pulitzer, Ms. Sullivan, not a paycheck. Long silence. Then, what exactly do you have on the Marchetti family? Everything. Financial crimes, murder, racketeering, human trafficking. We've been documenting it for months. It's all verified, all provable. And you'll give it to me? If you help us first. Sullivan looked at her recorder, turned it off. I made a mistake, taking their money, running that story without proper verification. I knew better, but I was desperate. Divorce, medical bills, the usual excuses. I understand debt, Mara said quietly. It makes us do things we shouldn't. If I help you, the Marchetti family will come after me. Vincent will protect you. Full security, safe house, whatever you need. Why would he do that? Because destroying the Marchetti family is worth the investment, and because he's not actually the monster you reported him to be. Sullivan stood. I need to think. You have 24 hours. After that, your bank records go public and you're finished. That's extortion. That's consequences. Mara stood too. You chose money over truth. Now you get to choose truth over money, or lose everything. Sullivan walked away. Mara watched her go, Vincent's voice in her earpiece. Well done, she'll come around. How do you know? Because you gave her a way out. People always take the way out. Mara hoped he was right. 20 hours later, Amanda Sullivan called. I'll help, but I want everything you promised. The story, the protection, everything. Deal. Come to this address tomorrow at noon. Mara gave her the warehouse location. Neutral ground. Secure. I'll be there. The next day, Sullivan arrived with a lawyer and copies of all her communications with Empire Holdings. The evidence was damning. Clear bribes, clear coordination, clear proof that the morning news story had been paid propaganda. This goes public today, Vincent said, along with our evidence against the Marchetti family. Giuseppe has already contacted federal prosecutors. They're interested in a deal. What kind of deal? Sullivan asked. Vincent testifies against Marchetti operations in exchange for immunity on minor infractions. We take down the bigger threat. You're turning informant? I'm cleaning house, Vincent corrected. Getting rid of corrupt competitors while transitioning my operations toward legitimacy. Everyone wins except the Marchetti family. Sullivan shook her head. This is insane. Welcome to my world, Mara said. The story broke that afternoon, Amanda Sullivan reporting her own corruption alongside explosive evidence of Marchetti family crimes. Federal investigators pivoted from Vincent to the Marchetti family in hours. By evening, 12 Marchetti family members were arrested, their operations exposed, their empire crumbling. Vincent stood in the war room watching news coverage with satisfaction. It's done. Not yet, Giuseppe cautioned, and they still have resources, still have people. This isn't over. But we're winning it, Marcus said. For now, Vincent agreed. He looked at Mara. Thank you. This was your strategy, your execution. Our strategy, she corrected. I just saw the angle. You did more than that. You changed the game. He pulled her close, right there in front of everyone. I want to marry you, now, today, before anything else goes wrong. Mara laughed. We talked about a real wedding. We'll have two, one now, one later. I don't care. I just want you to be mine officially. Giuseppe cleared his throat. Boss, with respect, maybe wait until the Marchetti situation is fully resolved. No, Vincent's voice was absolute. I've waited long enough. We're getting married tonight, City Hall, small ceremony, just us and whoever wants to come. Mara looked at him, saw the determination, the need, the fear underneath that tomorrow might not come. Okay, she said, tonight. But Titan definitely walks me down the aisle, even if the aisle is just a hallway. Deal. 8 hours later, Mara stood in City Hall wearing a simple white dress Olivia had produced from somewhere. Titan beside her in a bow tie that had taken 3 people to attach. Vincent waited at the end of the hallway in a dark suit that made him look dangerous and beautiful at once. Marcus, Giuseppe, Thomas, Leo, Angelo. They all came, stood as witnesses to something impossible. A mafia boss and a waitress. A man who dealt in violence and a woman who dealt in kindness. Finding each other. Choosing each other against all odds and logic. The ceremony was short, 10 minutes, Legal words that meant everything and nothing. I do, Vincent said. I do, Mara echoed. By the power vested in me by the state of New York, I pronounce you married. You may kiss. Vincent pulled her close, kissed her like she was oxygen and he'd been drowning. She kissed back, felt the rightness of it, the inevitability. When they broke apart, their friends applauded. Titan barked once, sharp, happy. Now what? Mara whispered. Now we live, Vincent said, together, whatever comes. They walked out of City Hall hand in hand, into Manhattan night, into their future, into whatever chaos waited, but together, always together. 3 months after the wedding, Mara stood in the penthouse looking out at the city, morning sun painting everything gold. Titan sleeping on the couch behind her. Vincent in the shower singing off-key in Italian. Her phone showed messages from Giuseppe about the new community center they were opening in Queens. Legitimate operation, youth programs, job training, Vincent's way of giving back to the neighborhood where Mara grew up. The Marchetti family had been dismantled. Federal prosecutors had secured convictions on 19 members. The rest scattered, no longer a threat. Vincent's organization had transformed, 70% legitimate now. Real estate, investment firms, security consulting. The gray areas remained but shrinking. Another year, maybe two, and they'd be completely clean. Mara had become something she never imagined. Partner in a multi-million-dollar enterprise. Vincent's equal in every way. Respected by men who once would have dismissed her. But more than that, she'd become herself. Fully, completely. The girl from Queens who survived by being invisible had become the woman who changed everything by being seen. She heard Vincent emerge from the bathroom, felt his arms wrap around her from behind, leaned into his warmth. Morning, wife. Morning, husband. Sleep okay? Better than okay. She turned in his arms. Vincent, I need to tell you something. His expression went serious. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Everything's right. But there's something you should know. Tell me. She took his hand, placed it on her stomach. In about 7 months, Titan's going to have to share us with someone new. Vincent froze. You're pregnant. Yes, found out yesterday. Silence. Then his face transformed. Joy, pure, unfiltered. We're having a baby. We're having a baby. He picked her up, spun her around, kissed her until she was breathless. Titan woke up barking, wanting in on whatever excitement was happening. A family, Vincent said, voice full of wonder. A real family. You already had a family, Mara said. Marcus, Giuseppe, all of them, they love you. But this is different. This is blood. This is future. This is everything I never let myself want. Boy or girl, she asked. I don't care, as long as they're healthy. If boy, we name him Marco, after your father. And if girl, Lucia, after my grandmother. Perfect. He held her close. Thank you for this, for everything, for saving my life that night and every day since. You saved mine too, Mara said. Gave me purpose, family, home. They stood together, 3 beings in the morning light, soon to be 4. A mafia boss learning kindness, a waitress learning strength, a book learning love, and a future being written in real time. Not perfect, never perfect, but real, honest, true, which was more than most people ever got. 6 months later, the real wedding happened exactly as planned. Outdoor venue upstate among vineyards that rolled like green oceans toward distant mountains. Spring afternoon, perfect temperature, sky impossibly blue. 100 guests filled white chairs. Marcus coordinating security from positions that looked decorative but were strategic. Giuseppe ensuring everything ran smoothly. Thomas handling logistics. Leo managing the perimeter. Angelo and his team positioned as waiters, caterers, groundskeepers. Everyone armed, everyone ready. Because Vincent Accardi's wedding would either be beautiful or a battlefield. Possibly both. Mara stood in the bridal suite, 7 months pregnant now, wearing a dress custom designed to accommodate her growing belly while still looking elegant. Olivia fussed with the veil, tears in her eyes. You look perfect. I look like a pregnant bride at a mafia wedding. Exactly. Perfect. Olivia squeezed her hand. Are you ready? For the wedding or the attack? Both. Mara looked out the window at the assembled guests. Half were legitimate, business partners, society connections, people who knew Vincent as a reformed entrepreneur building legitimate empire. The other half knew exactly what Vincent had been, what he still was, underneath the veneer. They'd come to witness the impossible. A man like Vincent Accardi finding love, finding redemption, finding reason to be better. "I'm ready," Mara said. Music started. Classical. Beautiful. She walked to the entrance where Titan waited in his custom tuxedo, tail wagging, ready to walk her down the aisle one last time. "Hey boy, you ready to give me away?" Titan barked once. Yes. They walked together. Down the aisle between white chairs and spring flowers. Past faces she knew, Marcus nodding approval, Giuseppe smiling, Thomas wiping his eyes, Angelo giving thumbs up. And at the end, Vincent, suit perfect, eyes locked on her like she was the only thing in existence. She reached him. Titan sat. Vincent took her hands. "You're beautiful. You're biased." Completely. The officiant began, traditional words about love and commitment and partnership. But Mara barely heard. She was looking at Vincent, at the man who'd started as danger and become home. "Vincent Accardi, do you take Mara Chen to be your wife?" "I do. Forever." "Mara Chen, do you take Vincent Accardi to be your husband?" "I do. And always." "By the power vested in me, I pronounce you—" Gunshots, 3, rapid, from the eastern tree line. Marcus's voice barked through hidden comms. "Shooters east, suppressing." More gunshots. Return fire from Vincent's hidden security. Guests screamed, scattered, ran for cover behind overturned tables and decorative columns that were actually reinforced concrete. Vincent pulled Mara down. Titan positioned himself between them and the threat, snarling. "Stay down," Vincent commanded. "Not leaving you." "Mara, not leaving you." The gunfight lasted 90 seconds. Angelo's team neutralized the shooters with efficiency that came from decades of practice. When the guns fell silent, 3 bodies lay in the tree line. Marcus appeared, breathing hard. "All clear, boss. Marchetti remnants. Last desperate move. They're done now." Vincent stood slowly, helped Mara up. Her dress had grass stains. Her veil was askew. She was shaking but unhurt. "Everyone okay?" Vincent called out. Murmured confirmations. A few minor injuries from diving for cover, but no one seriously hurt. Vincent looked at the chaos. Overturned chairs, spilled champagne, bullet holes in decorative structures. His wedding destroyed. Then he looked at Mara, at his pregnant wife standing strong despite the fear, at Titan who'd protected them both, at his people who'd defended them without hesitation. And he laughed. "What's funny?" Mara asked. "This, us. We can't even get married without a gunfight. Is this going to be our whole life?" "Probably not. The Marchetti family is finished now. Last of them just died trying to kill us. After this, we're clear." "Promise?" "Promise, yeah." He pulled her close, kissed her, long, deep, in front of everyone. When they broke apart, the guests were climbing out from cover, brushing off grass, checking phones, processing what just happened. Vincent raised his voice. "Everyone, thank you for coming, for staying, for not running when things got exciting." Nervous laughter. "I know this wasn't the wedding you expected, but it's the wedding we got, so let's finish it." He turned to the officiant, who was emerging from behind a pillar. "You were saying?" The officiant, remarkably composed, cleared his throat. "I pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride." Again. Vincent kissed her, properly this time. While guests applauded and Titan barked and Marcus radioed the all clear, and life continued in all its chaotic glory. "We're married," Mara whispered. "Finally. Only took 2 ceremonies and a gunfight. Worth it." They walked back down the aisle together. Husband and wife, past the damage and the blood and the evidence of violence. Toward the reception tent that had survived intact. The party that followed was legendary. Dancing, speeches, Giuseppe telling embarrassing stories about Vincent's youth, Marcus demonstrating combat moves while drunk, Angelo crying into his champagne, and Vincent and Mara in the center of it all, dancing slowly, her head on his chest, his hand on her pregnant belly, their dog sleeping under the table. I love you, Vincent said. I love you too. Our child is going to grow up in a different world than I did. Better world. Much better, because of you, because of us. They danced until midnight, until the guests departed, until only family remained. Then they went home, to the penthouse that had become their sanctuary, where Titan immediately claimed the couch and fell asleep. Vincent and Mara stood at the window overlooking Manhattan. The city that had tried to destroy them failed. What now? Mara asked. Now we live, build, grow, watch our empire become something we're proud of instead of something we hide. Sounds nice. Sounds possible. For the first time in my life, it actually sounds possible. 3 months later, Lucia Chen Accardi was born. 7 pounds, dark hair, her father's eyes. She came into the world screaming and didn't stop until Mara sang the lullaby. Dormi, dormi, piccolo guerriero. Lucia quieted immediately. Vincent watched from beside the hospital bed, tears streaming down his face. She knows the song. Of course she does. I sang it to her every night. Titan was brought in to meet the baby. He sniffed carefully, then lay down beside the bed. Guardian, protector, family. Vincent held his daughter for the first time. This tiny thing, this miracle, this future he'd never let himself imagine. Thank you, he said to Mara. For what? For saving me, for loving me, for giving me this. You gave me everything too. Home, purpose, family. Giuseppe visited that evening with flowers and wisdom. She's beautiful, boss. Congratulations. Thank you. You did it. Transitioned the organization, made it legitimate, built something worth passing down. Vincent looked at his sleeping daughter. She'll never have to choose violence, never have to live in shadows. She gets the light. Everything I build from now on is for her. That's good, boss. That's really good. After Giuseppe left, Vincent and Mara sat together in peaceful silence, their daughter between them, their dog at their feet, their future bright and clear and real. We made it, Mara said. We did. From poison to this, from strangers to family, from survival to actually living. Best decision I ever made was not drinking that water. Best decision I ever made was screaming, stop. Second best was staying. Third best was marrying you. Fourth best was this. Vincent touched his daughter's tiny hand. She gripped his finger with surprising strength. She's going to be trouble, Mara predicted, like her mother, like her father, like both of us. Poor thing. They laughed, quietly, not wanting to wake the baby. Outside, Manhattan continued its endless dance. Millions of lives, millions of stories, millions of people trying to survive. But here, in this room, 3 people and a poo had done more than survive. They'd thrived, found each other against impossible odds, built something real from violence and fear and hope. Mara Chenicardi, former waitress, current partner in a reformed empire. Mother, fighter, survivor, Vincent Accardi, former crime lord. Current entrepreneur, husband, father, man learning that love was stronger than fear. Titan, former weapon. Current guardian, family, and Lucia. New life, new hope, new the beginning. Their story started with poison and a pit bull and a waitress who saw too much. It ended with love and a baby and a family that chose each other. No cliffhangers, no unfinished business, no threats waiting, just peace. Hard-won, fully earned, completely real, finally, forever. Home. The end.